Is it worth playing BDO in 2025? Speaking as a returning / new player, yes, I'm a little fatty, but you can call me LF. Now let me preface this whole video by saying I've recently brought over my community to start in Black Desert Online. We were originally from Throne and Liberty, and with the content at a lull because of a lack of PvP content, we decided to venture out with one goal currently. We want to go into it and get PvP by joining the T1 Node Wars. It's easy to get into with gear being capped, so our new players don't have to do the legendary grind BDO is known for before we can participate in content. With as little as maxed out seasonal gear and then maybe a little bit more with crystals, we'd be able to reach the cap. And it also just so happened that the Heidel Ball BDO's biannual stream happened to air the night we started. It tells players what they have planned releasing, and it really seemed to have a good chunk of it catering to new players. Just in case you missed it, here's what went down.
We also prepared some benefits to help our new adventurers. First, Tuala accessories, which are seasonal items, will no longer fail enhancements at Try and below. The season server is designed as a mini version of Black Desert World for new adventurers to experience. But since it is also important for them to know that accessories can be destroyed when enhancing, so destruction will still occur, but for only enhancements at Try and above, to make it less stressful when trying to gear up with Tuala accessories. And from now on, we plan to provide new adventurers with a settlement support fund about 10 billion silver. We've been analyzing data from last winter through this year and found that new adventurers typically graduate from season server in as little as 3 days, with the average of being around 9 days. We think this is a reasonable time frame, but most players graduate with about 400 million up to 1 billion silver on hand.
I think that'd be really nice for people getting started.
While we do offer various benefits, once you move to main server, you'll need to gear up and start enjoying all kinds of content which requires some starting funds. We considered providing items, but honestly, nothing beats silver. We believe giving silver instead would offer more flexibility and choice. For this reason, we will be providing all new adventurers who graduate with a 10 billion silver support fund. We hope this will aid you in shopping on the main server or use it in any ways that help you grow.
Really nice.
However, to prevent any potential exploits, the full amount won't be given all at once. Some will be provided through main quests and some through content. So please keep this in mind as you get started.
You can watch the whole thing if you'd like in @BlackDesertGame, but just so you don't have to, I'll put up the list here of the early game stuff that you are going to be seeing. A lot of these changes are really good for new players and also really good for mid-game players. So I'm just going to be posting the early game and the mid-game, and just for the heck of it, I'll post the end game stuff as well. But generally, as a new or returning player, you're gonna be more focused on the early and mid-game updates, which is incredibly good for us. I know some of the players complain about how the changes were pretty much returning / new player centric changes, and I know that's bad for the mid-game towards the end-game players, but for us, especially who are just returning, who are just new players, it's incredibly good for us. So we're more than happy to take it. Coming back from the good old Miramok days where 100 mil per hour was considered good, or back in the Sazin days where 12 to 16 mil an hour off of auto marketplace gear was amazing, and I now farm areas giving over 1 bill an hour? Like, what the fuck is up with that? I love it. Now you'd think inflation? Well, not quite. Prices are controlled in BDO, so things don't really get out of hand. A lot of things that were even more expensive back then, like Pen Blackstar weapons, not only do you get a good chunk of that already, but since you'll need copies to make your sovereign weapons eventually, they are actually about, from what I remember, about 3 times as cheap, or 2 times, like half the price of what they used to be. So it's insanely cheap, and not only that, you also get more silver by grinding, among other things that you can do in game. This means that the egregious grinding that BDO had before was 10 times as easy if you were from the 100 mil per hour days, or if you're from the Sazin days, well, you know. And with the capped content, it becomes a lot more new player friendly. Returning players can probably participate in T1 or even T2 node wars right away. There's content for everybody, whether you're a life skiller on land or sea, a PvE dungeon enjoyer, or maybe you just like grinding like me, and PvP. Enhancing is also a lot more forgiving than before, and there's always the option of just buying your gear with the increased silver gains if you really want to play it safe. With the exception maybe of some endgame gear pieces like sovereign weapons or Karazad accessories, but the materials needed to make those and upgrade them can be bought with silver. Veteran players that don't want to grind as much anymore have the option to just AFK fish with a proper setup and get good gains. You can warlog and still get good gains, which is a lot easier than doing the same dungeons on repeat every single day in terms of maintaining your account. That way, you get your gains, and you can still participate in the endgame content as a player close to the hard cap with minimal setup. Essentially, you're treating the game as a marathon, which is basically what BDO has always been, albeit it's a lot easier now. And if you see it that way, your outlook on the game would be much better. So yes, I do think the game is worth jumping into even and especially for new or returning players. The one thing that might turn off some returning players is the amount of new systems they have in place, but honestly, just focus on what's in front of you. Longtime players still end up discovering new stuff every now and then. BDO is not a game you learn everything about all at once because it will overwhelm you. You take what's in front of you, run with it, and you ask questions along the way. Think of it as like mapping out and revealing the fog of war in terms of your knowledge of the game, and you'll appreciate it a lot more. And well, if that's not enough to convince you, here's the combat trailer for the Wukong class.
I'll wipe you all out! My Nimbus! Yes! Face the power pole! The truth sets you free. Yes! Gather my shadow! Dream and reality are but one.